Hey, Wes, what's going on, buddy?
Oh man, we always have a rule that if you are on the show, there's only two ways to get back. You either did something so horrible that we
Yes.
have to have you back because there's no way it could be that bad, or you were so good that we want more. Well, today's guest is the second.
It's the latter, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's amazing. I think about Lee's Salz has become a friend of the show and just a great guy and an incredible author. I mean, his differentiator series are great. I've read them all. Well, I haven't read the new one yet because it's just
Not
being
out yet.
released now. But he's done the differentiator series, and this is a guy that is after my own heart when it comes to sales because it's about making a difference and doing things right and not just being that same old person that does the same old thing and maybe taking somebody I met for lunch last week. Our friend also Marvin Montgomery used to use a quote: "Quit quoting and hoping." Right. And I've always loved that thing because, but Lee comes from the standpoint of let's be a differentiator, and I love it. He's got a whole series of books and a new one coming out, and we're just going to chat with him about the book, and we'll probably should go bring him on because he's way more interesting than you and I. And we've done whole podcasts where it's just you and I, and nobody cares. So we should probably...
That's right. We didn't even care.
We didn't even look at it. We didn't even watch it.
That's right. So all right. Well, let's get to Lee.
Let's do it.
All right.
Unbelievable. There he is, the man himself. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I couldn't be better.
Yes, you could.
I could have a copy of your book in my hand.
See, wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, it would
I'd like
be
to
better.
have one too. I don't have it yet.
Yeah, that's fun. There it is. We got a copy of it at least.
Yes.
Yes, but I'll tell you what. I've been watching your all your promo stuff, and if it's, I'm going to say this. I'll go this far, Lee. If it's a quarter as good as your other books, it'll be amazing, and I mean that sincerely. I
appreciate that.
I have your books. I should buy another set probably, and you're going, hell yeah, you should. But I have the other ones all in Florida, where I really technically live. I'm in my Michigan home right now at the lake, but for the summer. But I didn't bring them with me because my wife only lets me pack so many things, and so I planned the trip on 4 days, so that's 4 pair of everything, and that's all I get to bring. So. But anyways, great book. And I'm really looking to just chat about you and what brought you to this point and why you write these incredibly good books. And I got to question you because you refer to yourself as sales centurion.
Contrarian.
Contrarian. Geez. Yeah. Okay. I'm reading it. I can't read. Okay. Hold on. There. Now I got my glasses. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks right. My wife says I should wear my glasses, especially when I drive. I said, hey, I see a red light because you're telling me there's a red light 7 miles from now. So, but what does that mean? What is Lee all about? And let's get into the Lee Salz story.
Sounds good. And as you always say, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. All right. Yes, I am a proud sales contrarian. Here's why. And I'm sure you've seen this, Randy. Salespeople have been told a lot of stuff, haven't they? A lot of information, and they've embraced it. They don't question it. They just embrace it. Right? So,
yep. And
a lot of it, it's not outdated. It just was never, ever true. So I'll give you one. Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Sales is nothing but a numbers game. How many times you heard that one?
Well, hundreds of times, thousands of times.
Worst counsel ever given to salespeople. Because if you exclusively look at sales through the lens of a numbers game, you treat people like a number. And of course, no one wants to feel that way.
Right.
You know what else that tells you? You can prospect too much. Ever heard that one? You can prospect too much. If you're prospecting at levels that it's generic emails, generic voicemails, or heaven forbid you get somebody on the phone and it's a generic conversation, you're not going anywhere. So it's quality over quantity. That's what we need to be looking for. And there's so many studies that support that. You want another one?
I want more. Bring them.
All right. This is a test. It's a fill in the blank for you, Randy. And
okay.
I know first thing in the morning. Let's see if you can get this right.
It's a little early. I've only had 3 coffees, so be
All
easy
right,
on
very
me.
good. Here we go. You're only as good as your blank sale. What's the
last?
Last sale.
Yep.
I'd like to have a word with the person who first said you're only as good as your last sale.
Yep.
Nothing good comes from that expression.
Exactly.
And if you believe in that, you're only as good as your last sale, you probably suffer from the sales EKG effect. You familiar with that, Randy?
No, tell me.
Never heard it? Okay, I'll take you through it, right? You do the right things, you do the right things, you do the right things, land a piece of business, get a fat commission check. Lazy, lazy, lazy. And then your sales manager comes along and says, hey, Lee, how about doing those right things again? Okay. Do the right things, do the right things, do the right things, land another piece of business, get another fat commission check, and lazy, lazy, lazy. And that cycle keeps repeating itself. Good luck growing your income if you believe you're only as good as your last sale. That expression should be you're only as good as your next sale.
Exactly.
Always focused on what's coming next. Always focused on tomorrow. And if you embrace that expression, you'll be prospecting and developing healthy sales pipelines. I'll give you one more, Randy.
Okay.
First meetings, it's another example of my sales contrarian philosophy. Salespeople have been told have discovery meetings, right? Have you heard that?
All the time. Yep.
Completely disagree with that. Matter of fact, chapter 1 of the first meeting differentiator is titled The Necessary Death of Discovery Meetings.
Yes, I remember it well, Lee. I love the story. Tell it. All right. We got to hear it.
Okay. So in that first meeting called Discovery, we come in with an approach that, or we should say we prepare by saying, here's the questions I'm going to ask. Here's the information I'm going to share. What does the other person get out of it? I love asking salespeople. If I agree to a meeting with you, what do I get out of it? And the most common response, well, they'll learn about my stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with that. Most likely they have a provider. They have a supplier.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to perceive meeting with you and learning about your stuff as meaningful value. They already got somebody that's giving it to them.
Exactly.
Well, what else you got? What's meaningful value? Yeah, they got nothing.
Yep.
Because that's what a discovery mindset is all about. It's about us.
Mm-hmm.
Consideration for the person on the other side of the desk. And that's what makes prospecting so hard. You see, we reach out to someone and we ask for this meeting. They know it's a discovery meeting and they know they're going to get nothing out of that interaction. So unless they're in a buy mode, there's no reason, at least in their minds, to meet with a salesperson.
Truth.
So meaningful value. Now, does your audience like free things?
Oh, most people like free things.
All right. I've got a tip sheet. And you got to write this domain down. You're not going to remember this.
Okay.
Meaningfulvalue.com.
Okay.
And I give 10 ways to provide meaningful value that once you define what that meaningful value is, you envelop that in your prospecting messaging. By the way, Randy, when we get together, I'll share with you some best practices that manufacturing executives are taking advantage of today to creatively reduce their costs. Oh, okay. I'm going to learn something during that interaction. It's worth it to me to meet with Lee.
Exactly.
That's the concept.
And you know, Lee, what's beautiful about that is, and it hits right on the differentiator part of everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is doing that, right? So it's like if there's 5 your competitors, you're the 6th, all making a call on this guy, right?
That's right.
You're the only one that they're going to go, this guy's Lee or Randy guy's different. I mean, he might actually want to know about me. He might actually want to bring me some value. That's huge, isn't it?
Well, and it brings around to another favorite question I might ask salespeople. Who's your toughest competitor? And they'll rattle off 3 players from their space. I'm going, well, that's a tough competitor, but there's one even tougher. And then they get snarky, Randy. Oh, I know what you mean. That old sales trainer one, the status quo, the choice to do nothing. Also a tough competitor, but there's one even tougher. And then someone will go, oh, wait a minute. I know what it is. It's me. If I don't have my head straight, I can get my own way and I can be my toughest competitor. Now, it's true. If you don't have your head on right, you can get in your own way and be a tough competitor. But there's one even tougher, more formidable than any of those 3. And I've never had anyone in any audience name that competitor. Unless, of course, they've read my books. You want to give it a shot?
Oh, let's see. I would say it's probably That's a tough one. We're going to play Stump the Host here. I see how we're going here now.
See, instead of stumping the guest, we stump the host.
Exactly. Wes is frantically coming up with a question I can stump you on. So just so you know.
Okay.
Be ready. Be ready. Good. So I would say, I would have said you're your own worst enemy when it comes to that. But it's probably.
I already gave you that one.
You gave me that one, so I can't use that one. So it's probably, I think this is an offshoot of that, but it's your mindset, and you're not putting yourself into the customer's shoes. You're not thinking like the customer. You're thinking like yourself. You're getting that dreaded commission breath that we kind of alluded to, but didn't say the same word. We're not in it for what's for the customer. We're in it for what's for ourselves. And I think as a salesman, that's what gets us in trouble. I think from the nope,
that's not it.
All right,
okay,
I'm ready.
Does everybody know what you sell?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
If they don't, I'm not doing my job, right?
And who are you selling to? What's the title?
As far as the actual person in the business, they're a buyer, a purchasing agent. They could be a manager.
Agent. Okay.
Yep.
That purchasing agent, in addition to what you sell, what else do they buy?
All kinds of stuff from everybody.
Right. So they're getting calls and emails from salespeople representing their entire purview of responsibilities and beyond. Your toughest competitor is every salesperson calling on the same person you are, trying to get a meeting. See, we're egocentric when we think about competition. We only see it from our side of the desk. Well, let's flip it around to theirs. You mentioned procurement. They're buying pens, office supplies, building materials, services, softwares, and on and on and on and on and on. So I got to make you a little uncomfortable for a moment. You're not competing against a handful of players in your space. You're competing against hundreds, maybe thousands of salespeople to get the audience, to get the attention of this individual. Because here's something that a lot of salespeople don't realize. There has never been an executive hired for the sole purpose, the sole reason of meeting with salespeople every hour on the hour. Not even procurement has that in their job description.
Right.
So we're an interruption in their day. There's no one staring at the phone saying, oh my gosh, I hope a salesperson calls me right now. Never happened, never gonna happen. So we're competing for FaceTime. No, not the Apple technology. I mean the ability to have a meeting. Because if there's no meeting, there's no proposal. No proposal, no win. No win, no commission check.
Yep. Love that. Spot on, man. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. You. And it correlates. I was just thinking as you was talking about that. And we're so involved. You and I both do a lot of social media stuff. Everybody should be if they want to be seen. But you're doing the same thing there, right? You're not just competing. If I'm talking about my widget that I make,
right?
Number one, I don't talk about it much because nobody cares about my widget. They want to know about Randy, and is he the real deal? Is he the guy I want to work with? Is he honest and all that stuff? I can show my little widget all day long. Who cares, right? But
exactly.
Even if I'm showing the widget, it's like you nailed it when I was listening to it. Is I'm not competing against the other 6 people that might be selling this widget.
Right.
You're right. For view time on social media, I'm competing with, if this guy isn't interested in about a second and a half, I'm going to find somebody else that's more interesting, right?
That's right.
And so it's the same idea in a different way. Same concept.
Right.
I love that.
That's right.
Beautiful.
But Randy, we left the audience dangling. We said, you don't want to have discovery meetings, but I didn't tell them what you should want instead.
Yes.
So I want you to think about the times when you've gone to the doctor. You went for 2 reasons: to become wiser about your circumstances and understand potential remedies. You certainly wouldn't have gone there if you thought you were a science project. Hey, let me go mess around with Randy, and then I'm going to take all this data, and I'm going to get some information from me. Meaning Randy got nothing out of that interaction. Now, doctors don't call that first meeting a discovery. What do they call it?
Appointment? Consultation. Yep.
Right? They call it a consultation. Yep. And the expression consultation implies there has to be meaningful value for both sides.
Right.
And so I'm on a mission right now to change sales mindsets from discovery to consultation. Because as soon as you think consultation, now I recognize the person on the other side of the desk has to get something out of that interaction, or you know what? There won't be a second meeting.
Right.
So if you go to meaningfulvalue.com, it's actually a little bit of an excerpt from my new book, but you'll get 10 tips to help you provide meaningful value. Again, you once you define that meaningful value, you put it in your prospecting messaging to get more meetings, and then you deliver on that when you do get that audience.
Love it. Yeah, that's good stuff. Everybody needs to get that. If it wouldn't be impolite for me to do it, I'd just go read it right now. But probably shouldn't. I'm a polite guy, if nothing else. But I think you just nailed it, and I love that. I'm glad that people are hearing that from you, Lee, because so many salespeople see them all day long, and they do think it's all about them, right? Mm-hmm. And you hit on something earlier. You was talking too is they want remedies. They want you to listen to them. Walking in, the first thing I see it all the time. Hey, here's my product. They lead with the product. They lead with something they have without even knowing if they even use the product for sure. Do they have a need? Are they in trouble? And the problem with that, I think too, in today's world, mm-hmm. is this crazy thing called the internet. That customer already knows all that stuff, right? They already know all that stuff.
Right.
If you're a good buyer today and you don't know darn near as much as I do about my product as far as all the little specs and stuff, then you're probably not doing your job as a purchasing agent, right? Because it's all right there. Mm-hmm. You can find it. So if I just come in and start reeling off all this stuff that I know,
you're not providing meaningful value, are you?
None. No, you're not.
Right.
And I'm boring the hell out of you. And I just want you all, the worst thing you want is, okay, this guy's been in my office for 5 minutes and I wish this Lee guy would leave. How long we got? I gave him 30 minutes and I got 25 left, right? That's the last thing you want.
Yep. It's a gift.
It's a gift. I love it. I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So Randy, I'll give you another one. There's an expression that salespeople have heard. If you've been in sales for 5 minutes, I'm going to start it, you finish it. People buy based on emotion, and then what?
They buy on emotion, and they base the buy on facts and figures and all that stuff after the emotion, but it's always got to be emotion first, right?
Right. They buy based on emotion and justify their decisions with logic.
Exactly.
Age-old expression, been around forever.
Yep.
Now, if you and I said we're going to record 100 sales calls, 100 first meetings across all different industries all around the world, I'll bet you the deed to my house that 99 of that 100, if not all 100, the entire conversation was logic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about the meetings that you've seen. The entire conversation was logic. No emotions roused whatsoever. And I used to scratch my head on this. I'm like, I don't understand. If every salesperson on the planet has heard people buy based on emotion, justify the decision with logic, why does nobody do it?
Exactly.
Well, then I had an epiphany. I have two sons that played college baseball. We've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. And I remember when they were little guys.
Yeah.
And they'd be out in the ball field, and the coach would say, hit home runs. And they'd go, got it, hit home runs. But guess what, Randy? Nothing changed until they were taught how to hit home runs.
Right.
So we're preaching to salespeople. You need to engage emotions, but we're not teaching them how to do it. Well, that's what I do in Chapter 5 of the First Meeting Differentiator. I teach salespeople how to develop what I call empathetic expertise and how to appropriately engage emotions when selling. I'll share with you a story.
Okay.
My dad passed away a couple of years ago. As a matter of fact, this book got delayed a year because of his passing. And he had a career in banking and accounting, so he always did my parents' taxes. But as his health started to deteriorate, my mom was saying, hire a CPA. Let's just get this off your plate and don't worry about it. Finally, he gave in and did. So he did it in 2022, and he passed away at the end of that year. So I then began managing my mom's finances. So again, CPA's in place. So here we come, the April 2023 deadline, and the accountant filed the return accurately and on time. And I fired him. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
Okay.
Wait, Lee, you just said he did everything right and on time. How would you, why do you fire somebody like that? I'll explain.
What? I would love to hear.
Well, whenever my mom, my sister, and I talked with this accountant, he was disrespectful. He made us feel like idiots. Now, I'm not an accountant, but I consider myself fairly bright. But he made us feel like idiots. We hated talking to this guy. And he knew my father. And he showed no sensitivity for the situation, no understanding of all the emotions we were experiencing. And the three of us despised talking to this guy because of how he made us feel. So he lost this account, not because of work quality,
right?
Because he lacked what I call empathetic expertise. You've probably heard the expression, people forget what you said, they forget what you did, but they never, ever, ever forget how you made them feel.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And it certainly rang true with this accountant. And top salespeople recognize the impact of emotion on decision-making and the importance of empathetic expertise. You know, people are always told, you've heard this, that people buy from those they blank and blank. Another quiz for you.
No, like and trust.
Like and trust. All right, you got that real quick. But you're half right. There's actually 4 criteria. That's 2. The other 2 are those who have solution expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is those who have empathetic expertise. A salesperson with product mastery who's unlikable, untrustworthy, and fails to show appreciation for the decision influencer's emotions, you sell nothing. But what's interesting is when a salesperson has empathetic expertise, they're more likable, they come across as more trustworthy, and they give the impression of having greater expertise in what they're selling than they actually do. It becomes a differentiator for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the sole measure of empathetic expertise is 3 words. They get me.
Mm.
They get me. And if you think about people you've done business with for years, Randy, it wasn't low price that kept you coming back. You enjoy interacting with them.
Absolutely.
Right. And you said, you know what? They get me. That's why I like working with them. They get
Mm-hmm.
me. And so that's what the foundation is of empathetic expertise. They feel like you get them. Super important. Can I take this a step further?
Absolutely.
All right. So my favorite television show, Law and Order. I was so happy when that show came back in a reboot. Well, there was an episode last year where the prosecutor was really frustrated with a case he was trying. He's like, I got all the facts, I got everything, but the jury's not with me. So he goes to the district attorney, takes him through the case, and the district attorney says, the problem with your case is it's all fact, no heart, and the jury isn't buying it. All logic, no emotion, and the jury isn't buying it. So, well, that's interesting. Attorneys are using emotions to affect decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we need to do?
We might.
Right? Well, Law and Order says it's ripped from the headlines, but I still couldn't use that as a source. So I interviewed a judge, a prosecutor, a litigator, and a trainer of litigators, looking for ways that attorneys are using emotion to affect decision making in ways that we can in sales. So the prosecutor I talked with, he said, I want to take the jury on a journey. Say that fast 3 times. The jury on a journey from having the ability to convict to having the desire to convict. Sales world, the ability to contract with us to having the desire to contract with us. So he said, if I have, for example, a firefighter on the stage, I'm not asking fact questions. I'm asking emotional questions like, what did you feel? What did you feel when you went into that burning building? He wants the jury to feel like they were in that fire with the firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
So in chapter 5 of my book about emotion, I call it the deal energizer. If you aren't engaging emotion when selling, the deal has no life to it. It's likely to fizzle out. I teach the reader how to engage emotions appropriately to energize their deals.
Good stuff. I can't wait for this because you're so right. I'm listening to you and I I buy into number one, but I love the concept that you think about. Everybody thinks we buy on price. We sales guys get all wrapped up in that. Nobody buy. That's one of the factors, but it's usually one that's used to push back or to push away or whatever. It's never really the real factor. They buy because even in B2B, right, which is where I work. I live in the B2B world, but it's still P2P at the end of the day. There's somebody with a buyer title and somebody with a seller title. Whatever their titles are, it still comes down, like you said, Lee and Randy need to come together and feel comfortable making a deal together, right? It all comes to emotion, right? And I love that.
Person before prospect.
Yes. I love
Person before prospect. Until you understand them as an individual, they can't ever become a prospect.
that. Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, friends, it's Randy here, the owner of Source One Marketing, ibuyfromrandy.com. And I got to tell you, we are proud to sponsor the Building Wins Live podcast and vlogcast. We have 4+ decades in this beautiful industry of supplying materials, supplying services, supplying marketing assistance, and we just are proud to sponsor Building Wins Live and some great guests that we have every single week, many of them from our beloved industry and many of them from outside the industry that still bring some incredible content. So make sure to check us out at ibuyfromrandy.com and let us know what you think about this show. For now, thanks for checking this out. Let's get back to the show. So where does I wanted to touch on qualifying because obviously it's an important part of what we do, right? Because you only have limited time, and if you want to make as much money as you can doing what you do, practicing your craft, you don't want to waste a potential buyer's time, and you sure don't want to waste your time because time is money, as they say, right? What do you think about qualifying? I mean, is that a word that it gets overused, underused? Nobody knows what they're doing with it. Nobody even knows what the hell it means. What's Lee's vision on qualifying?
It reminds me of the conversation we had a moment ago with my boys and saying hit home runs. Mm-hmm. We say, hey, salespeople, you got to qualify. Well, qualifying happens relative to something. And we're not giving salespeople that criteria. And I'm with you. My mantra is if you're going to lose early.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Don't invest a ton of time. Like I'll do these postmortems on deals and I'll look at it and they'll go, yeah, this is one we lost. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, yeah, we didn't get it. I'm like, no, you were never in it. You were never a viable option. Now tell me, how many hours did you spend pursuing this? How many people were involved? How many people were on planes? Oh gosh, lots. Yeah. We got to qualify in that first meeting so we can make a go, no-go decision.
Right.
Now, the problem is that there's a tool that salespeople have been told about. Some have been given it, and it's called an ideal client profile. You're familiar with that, right? An ICP?
Mm-hmm.
Worst thing you can ever give a salesperson. Doesn't help with qualifying. See, an ideal client profile says if all the stars were to align, this is the kind of business we'd love to have. It's like a lottery ticket. Mm-hmm. It's a 1 in a gazillion chance that you'll ever stumble across one of these. But what every salesperson needs is a target client profile. And this isn't me wordsmithing. It's a totally different concept. A target client profile says, this is who will perceive the most meaningful value in what we offer, which gives deals the greatest chance of coming to fruition. And so there's a chapter dedicated to this subject in the book and how to put together a target client profile. And it has 12 components. And then once you get that nailed down, what are you qualifying against? Your target client profile. Every opportunity, you're banging against that profile to see how strong is this match around meaningful value. Oh, I said meaningful value again. We can start a drinking game, Randy. Every time I say meaningful value, you got to drink. Look, I got to drink.
Okay, I got coffee. I could get my Dr. Pepper, but it's a little
There
early.
You go. I got water. I'm no fun.
Well, hey, my coffee's fun. It gets me till tonight when I get some Dr. Pepper. So,
you want another sales contrarian expression?
I would love another one.
All right. When you're selling, you're supposed to share features and what?
Benefits.
Features and benefits. You've been told that forever, haven't you?
Forever.
Well, the title of the chapter in the book is Features, Benefits, and Boredom.
Love it.
Okay?
Love it.
Here's why. We come in lecturing. Here's the feature. Here's the benefit. I mean, we still have salespeople just talking features. That's a whole separate issue.
Oh, that's awful.
Okay. But you know what everybody likes and really appreciates? A well-told story.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of lecturing me on your features and benefits, tell me a story. What you've shared with me reminds me of a client of ours, had the same challenges that you've shared with me here today. And here's the solution we built for them. Take them through the solution, the results of that, tell them the story. Because one of the things that we're up against is the forgetting curve. Are you familiar with the forgetting curve?
I've heard of it. I won't say it as well as you, but yes, it does. It's yeah. Go ahead.
So Herman Ebbinghaus in the late 1800s, a researcher, he developed what's called the forgetting curve, and it's still valid today. What he found was that people forget 50% of what they learn within 24 hours and remember about 10% a week later. So let me do that math for a first meeting. You have a 1 hour meeting, they remember 6 minutes of it a week later. Ouch. And it goes down from there.
Yes.
But several studies show that people are much more likely to remember facts when they're enveloped in stories. And that's why storytelling is so important. So in the book, I lay out a framework on how to construct these stories in a compelling fashion. But then I take it a step further. Here's the problem in a lot of companies. Let's say you've been around 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years as a company. You hire a new salesperson today. How does that new salesperson learn the stories of what happened 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago? They don't.
They don't.
What they need to put together is a deal pursuit story portfolio where you take the framework that I present and create these stories so a salesperson that starts today can tell that story just as well as the salesperson that lived it 10 years ago and the one that actually did the deal 20 years ago. That's what they need. You share stories and it becomes much more memorable.
I love that. I love that. You're so right. And I was thinking as you was talking, a typical customer of mine would be somebody that builds a post-frame building. Might build a beautiful building, but nobody cares. That customer doesn't care about. We all think as sales guys, they care about the type of screw and the paint system and all that. Those are all things logically right at the end that helps them feel good about their
logic. Right? Yep.
But the emotion, the storytelling is getting them to see themselves sitting on their rocking chairs with the fire pit in the evening, overlooking the pond where we're going to build your building. Right? That's what you're selling, right?
Yep. Because if you want them to do something, they need to feel something.
Yes.
If they don't feel anything, guess what? You know what, Randy? Thanks so much for coming in. We're just going to stick with what we've been doing.
Exactly. Well, exactly. Because there's always for the customer, there's always a fear of change, right?
Yep.
Maybe they don't even love being with Randy, but Lee hasn't given me any particular reason to switch from Randy. So I'm going to stay with what I don't love, but I'm afraid to make the change, right?
That's right.
Unless you've given them a reason going, I like Randy, but damn, this Lee guy, he told me stories and I see myself sitting on the front porch with, in the rocking chair. I just like this Lee guy, right? That's the whole differentiator right there, right?
Yep.
Because you hit on the features and benefits, and I love that. We all get, again, wrapped up in most sales trainings that you ever have as salespeople is going through all these features, like, how much of this and how many ounces of that and all this. And at the end of the day, it's blah, blah, blah. You got to know it for the logic part of it, right? But before that, nobody cares, right? They just don't care. And I love that concept that you bring to the table. Good stuff.
Should we talk about ending that first meeting?
Let's talk about ending it.
All right. So let's say we're reading the tea leaves correctly. We believe the meeting has gone well. So favorite question of mine, as we'll wrap it up, I'll say, so Randy, how did we do today? I'm looking for them to say something like, I'm so glad you came in. This was a great use of my time because, get ready to drink, we provided meaningful value.
Exactly.
Drink here. Hang on.
A drink here.
We provided meaningful value. Now, I don't care what you sell. Doesn't matter. Product, service, technology, any industry. If that meeting has gone well, there's only one way it ends. With a scheduled, defined next interaction.
Yes.
Has to happen. And you say, boy, that's so obvious. But I got to tell you, even myself, I have these great conversations. It's so easy just to let it go with, oh, yeah, I'll follow up with you next week. It's so easy to do that.
It is.
Get them there.
Exactly.
We're all together. Energy is high.
Yes.
Emotion is peaked.
Yes.
Schedule it right then and there. And if they say, well, I need to get so-and-so, I got to check their schedule. Agreed. Let's do this. Let's put something on the calendar with a pencil, and then you verify with them if that day and time will work. We can always move it, but at least we have that scheduled next interaction.
Yes.
Got to happen every time.
So right. I love that. Because, again, keeps you on task, but also when the energy's high, the likelihood that they're going to say, yes, let's go ahead and do that is way greater than 20 minutes later, even if you walk out of the room. And if you don't do it right, you've gave them an automatic excuse to put you off all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Right? It's harder if you call to ask for an appointment, I'm busy, call back next week. But it's harder for them as a customer, right, to say, well, I've got this appointment with Lee at 3:00, and he's probably already planned on coming. I don't want to turn him down.
Right.
Right. It's a psychological, but an emotional. And if they like you a little bit, they don't want to disappoint you. I mean, I told Lee he could come back.
And if you provided meaningful value, they say, I want to meet with Lee again.
Exactly, because I like this guy.
Again, Randy, I said meaningful value.
You did say it again. If we were doing this after 5, we might get a little squirrely at some point.
I'm squirrely now.
Well, it happens. It happens.
Has nothing to do with booze.
So what do you think? I gotcha. So, and we've kind of talked about this, but
yeah,
we also, and I want to be cognizant of both our times, but
yeah,
customer pain.
Yeah.
We get taught that. What is
sure.
Lee? What's your pain point? What's your pressure point here? And I think sometimes we get taught to literally, Lee, what's your pain point with your current supplier?
Horrible question.
Awful question, right?
Talk about sounding salesy.
Exactly.
Just like you don't say discovery, that's a kitchen item. That's behind the scenes.
Yes.
And you don't ever say that. And I see it all the time. You see it on websites. You see it in email signatures. Schedule a discovery meeting.
Yeah.
What you're saying is a meeting for me. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything we just talked about today, right out the door.
Yep.
So let's talk about pain. I'm going to share with you a very painful sales story. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So Stephen Harmon, he's a salesperson for ABC Enterprises, and he has a consultation, that first meeting with Nicole Jameson. And during that first meeting, Nicole talked about issues with their current provider, her frustrations. And as she did, Stephen's like trying not to salivate because this deal just looks so good. Given Nicole's pain, this is a done deal, right?
Yep.
Well, so Stephen goes home. He's sitting on his deck, and he's thinking about all the ways he's going to spend this fat commission check. He goes, I think I'll finally buy that boat I've been looking at. He even goes to his wife, says, honey, this is it. All kind of sounds like Ralph Cram. This is it. I'm getting the deal. I'm getting this fat commission check. We're getting that boat. So next morning, he comes into work, grabs his coffee, goes over to his desk, flips up the laptop, and he looks at his email, and there's a note from Nicole. And it says, hey, Stephen, thank you so much for your time yesterday. After further thought, we decided to stay with our current provider. If anything changes, I'll be back in touch. Ever got one of those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sucks,
it does suck. That's about the biggest suck ever.
Yeah. So Steven's just like staring at his PC going, I don't understand this. I found pain. I didn't get the deal.
Yeah.
And I guess our listeners are saying, you know what? I got some of those Stephen deals where I found pain and I didn't get the deal. Here's the thing about pain. Just about every sales book talks about if you find the pain, you get the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of those books or all these sales pundits wrong? No. The issue is they're not counseling salespeople to take that conversation deep enough to determine if the pain they've heard is an inconvenience or a problem.
Right.
An inconvenience is a nuisance. We talk about it. We complain about it, but we don't do anything about it until it reaches the level of a problem.
Right.
And then and only then are we willing to invest time, resources, and dollars to address it.
And with that, Lee, back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, talking on pain, there's still, you have to identify and get to that point because there's still a pain in moving from vendor A to you, vendor B. There's a pain to that. There's all the, it could be part numbers, it could be inventory management. There's a myriad of things. So there is a pain there to do that. So in that particular case, I'm going to guess, I'm just guessing, but this Nicole is sitting there going, I don't like the situation.
Right.
But I also don't hate it enough, or it's not painful enough,
It's an inconvenience
that I'm going to switch. Right.
Yep.
So I'm going to continue dealing with the pain that I know, the inconvenience that I know, versus going into a whole new chapter that I might get rid of A and B, but I'm picking up C, D, E, and F. Right.
Right. So you may think pain's a word. It's not. It's an acronym. You ready?
Okay.
P, problem. A, action. If it's a problem, they're going to do something about it. Problem, action. I, inconvenience, and neutral. If it's an inconvenience, I'm not doing anything.
Yep.
So problem, action, inconvenience, neutral. Pain.
Yeah. Like that. That's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Man, Lee. So your book's coming out in early October. Is that the right date?
September 30th.
September 30th.
Yeah.
Well, that's darn near October, kind of.
It is.
I'm like, it is.
Right on the border.
It's on the border. I can't believe it's almost October already. It was like June, like last week.
Tell me about it.
It's amazing. I do want to touch on this before we sort of wrap up. How are the boys doing with baseball?
They're both out of college.
They're both out of college. I thought so.
Steven's my oldest. He's the oldest. He's 2.5 years out of college. Yep. I wrote the Steven story as chapter 1 in Sell Different.
Oh, yep.
And David graduated in May.
I saw he just graduated. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's taking a gap year as he's preparing for medical school.
Oh, wow. So not only did you raise good-looking boys, you raised smart ones too. That's amazing.
I did. Yeah, one in finance and one doctor.
Nice. So as we wrap up, the book's going to be a lot, folks. Buy the books. Buy the rest of them if you don't already have them. If you're silly enough not to have Lee's books, because you're not a top 25 world kind of class guy in the world of sales authors and everything else for no reason. I mean, your stuff is actionable. That's what I like. There's a lot of sales gobbledygook out there.
Yes.
That probably, any guy that sold for 3 days could write a bunch of sales gobbledygook if they read a couple books, right? But your stuff is actionable and it's real, and it teaches the way we need to do it today to be a sales professional as opposed to just somebody that has the title of a salesperson, right? And there's a big difference. Yeah. Big difference. Sure. So I appreciate you being on. I appreciate your books. Can't wait to get the first meeting differentiator. It's going to be great as always. As we kind of wrap up, what's the SAQ that you just have every day? The should ask question. What are you out there in your personal life, but not so much personal, but your business life, your sales world, your teaching, your training, that you just go, I've been 2 hours with these people, and these idiots never asked this question. Yeah, I just wish they would all. Why don't they ask this question? Is there something that just pops in your head?
Yeah, it's a question that they don't ask themselves. Where is the low-hanging fruit? So when we say we need new clients in here, what is the default? Let's go prospect more. Meaning, let's call on people who don't know us from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And every study shows longest sales cycle, lowest conversion rate. We're not maximizing referrals. And I don't know why this is, but every time I hear we got to get more new clients, the default is cold call. No, let's leverage what we've got. Yes. An interesting study. I don't know if you've seen this. Buyers were asked, if you were pleased with your purchase, and this is an and statement, and were asked for a referral, would you give one? What do you think? What percentage of buyers said they would?
It's got to be huge, I'm sure. Yeah. Huge. 80, 90%, I'll bet.
91.
Wow. Yeah.
Salespeople were asked, you asked for referrals. What percentage said they did?
Below 40, I'll bet.
11.
Man, that's awful.
So 9 out of 10 are saying, I'll give you a referral if you ask, and only 1 out of 10 are asking.
It's that, a quick story on that. I had in New York State one time, many years ago, with a great customer, and I was going to go into the New England area that I had never worked before. Yeah. Didn't know anybody. I said, do you know some people that I could, where would you say I go first? Yeah. Help me out a little bit. Yeah. And not only did he give me some lists, but all of a sudden he's dialing the phone and he goes, hey, Bill, I'm here with Randy. I buy all my component stuff from this guy. He's a great guy. He says we're going to be starting to work up in Maine. He said, I really think you should talk to him. As a matter of fact, he's standing right here, and he hands me the phone. Right?
Perfect.
That's where you want to build to. And he hit on something. I said we're done, but share of wallet's another place too, right?
Yes, it is.
If we need business today, And like you said, so well, I'm going to start cold calling everybody in the world that may buy my stuff. And that whole process is going to take 6 months to ever get there, if I get there.
Yes.
But what about this customer that loves me, loves my products, loves my company, but for whatever reason,
Right.
we haven't been selling him this particular product, right? Isn't that the easiest one to go get?
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to go through all that other stuff.
Side. Yes, absolutely.
Nothing else has to be done other than, hey, Lee, I see we've been doing a good job. You are happy with us, right? Oh God, I love you, Randy. I love your company. For whatever reason, I noticed, my bad probably, but you haven't been buying your whatever from us.
Yeah.
Could we work on that? Because it would be great for me, but more importantly, we can bundle this with all the other stuff, prepaid freight, all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's the easiest one because you don't have to go through all that.
That's right.
The discovery. We don't have to go through the consultation. We don't have to go anything other than hey, we do great for you and everything else. You love us. Why don't we do this too?
So what you're saying is, if they consolidated that with you, they would experience meaningful value.
Meaningful value.
We got a drink, Randy.
You got a drink. See, I would keep talking forever because I love what you talk about, love you, but I'm out of coffee, so I have priorities. You got to set priorities.
I can't say that expression anymore.
You got to have limits. But Lee, thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you seriously for bringing out another great book. And I mean that sincerely. I big fan. I love what you do, and just thank you so much. So, any parting words, or I'll let you go build an emotional relationship with somebody.
That's it. Well, like I said before, if you want them to do something, they need to feel something. Add emotion, get that energy in your deal.
Love it. Lee, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Cheers, my friend.
Thanks.
All righty. If you don't love Lee Salz, then you're not alive. Check your pulse. Go to the doctor. His son will be one in a few years, but you might not wait that long. But anyway, really, really good stuff. And in all sincerity, I've read all these books. That's not a joke. They're very, very good. I've become somebody I consider a friend, and I just enjoy what he brings to the sales world. Follow the guy. If you don't, buy his book when it's out. And lesson right here from Randy. Love what you do and do what you love, because that's what I'm doing right here today in the middle of a hybrid day. Sales calls this morning. Took time to do this podcast. More client visits this afternoon. Just building a life that I love, and you can do it too. So live it, love it, own it, and go make today your best day ever. Till tomorrow.